confusion because there are Vietnamese who think they're still Vietnamese even though they're high-tech, and there are other Vietnamese who don't think they're Vietnamese anymore because they don't need to connect to the land anymore. And there's a lot of confusion as to what identity is about, you know, because we've gone through the whole spectrum of the 20th century in one lifetime. And I don't have an easy answer, but I have this tendency to quote F. Scott Fitzgerald when I'm confused. And he wrote this essay called The Crack Up because he went nuts and he had to be incarcerated for a while. And he said something about the question of sanity. And he said the first sign, or a sign of the first-rate intelligence is someone who holds two opposite ideas in his head without going crazy. In the sense that identity is not necessarily fixed. It can come from a source, but it's always in movement and change. And so to think of oneself as Vietnamese does not necessarily negate oneself as becoming American, nor that becoming American is an endpoint to a world where borders are becoming porous and shifting all the time. So, you know, people are becoming what you call the multi-phrenic person. It's a new psychological term to describe people who are overwhelmed by so many different systems, you know. Once you can be sound in one system, but now you're connected to so many different communities, and you're no longer bound by land, but you're bound by ideas and by technology and so on. You're connecting all the time to new systems. And so we're becoming part of this web called the World Wide Web. And the World Wide Web is a very interesting metaphor of the confusing identities we're accumulating. You know, my little cousin speaks Vietnamese, French, and English, and he would be surfing the internet, watching TV, and talk to his mother at the same time. It's not linear at all. It's not like ABC. It's more like he's like connecting 3 or 4 different dimensions, and I can't even begin to understand what his world is like. But this is what we're becoming. And I think, despite all the confusion and so on, I think the crucial thing, at least for me, is to find a way to reconcile that simple or that land-bound past to the mobile presence. And to do that, I think one has to find some kind of personal task through art, to poetry, to metaphors, of trying to imagine oneself how the umbilical cord, for instance, could be translated into fiber optic nerves that connect me to a different way to the land, to the virtual reality, or the microchips. You know, so I wrote this one essay where I perceive the microchip that stores a lot of memories. Because right now, you know, if you go into Alta Vista or Google.com and you type in pho, which is a Vietnamese soup, it will come up like 12 different recipes for you. Or if you type in Buddhism or Taoism or, you know, even the word Da Nang or Hue, you will get instant photographs and stories about certain area about Vietnam, because all these people have brought their memory to this age and store it on a virtual reality. And so, in fact, the land lost is the land regained, but it's not regained in terms of coming back to another country, but recreating it through imagination and information. So you're talking about a new way of entrenching yourself, not necessarily through land, but through imagination. And that is a very interesting experience to be doing, because it's the task of art. And the new hero is someone who can re-enchant the world, bringing that old enchantment to the new one. So that's about it. We can talk. Huh. Questions? Yeah.
Like you were saying about how it's out here, how the Vietnamese people, Asian people have it out here right now. Is it like that back in Vietnam? Is it similar? Have they, like you said, they go back to their country and send the money?
Yeah.
How's the money used?
Well, what's happening now is that a lot of these people are bringing technology back to Vietnam. And so the last time I was there, a lot of kids were in internet cafes surfing the web. I mean, Vietnam is still supposed to be a communist country, but the communist ideology, or the communist state control traditional information like TV or books and newspapers. But there's so many different ways of accessing information now.